specialize in music most people hate. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you check out our Facebook page, Instagram, and our website. Let us share the noise with you.
Yo, this is John from Noise Dosage Media, and this episode is brought to you by Begrudgingly Benny. Interested in putting something horrific and grotesque on your next piece of merch? Benny is tucked away in the fiery depths of COVID quarantine, blasting the filthiest of old school death metal and drawing hideous creatures that he is waiting for you to adopt. Go over to Instagram and follow @BegrudginglyBenny and contact him if you would like some really weird original art for your band or label. Super professional, highly recommended.
Just because I got a fast car, I should still drive it the same speed as I did my old car. You know, like,
right.
You know, and that's something Brett Michaels said. You know, he's like, just because you have your career's doing really well, you know, don't get caught up in your hype and just crash it. You know, just keep going.
Right. Yeah, that's one of those things where you were talking about earlier with, catching up on hype number one, but like just keeping steady. If you don't do that, you'll fuck yourself up.
Yeah, exactly.
What I was actually going to say before I had a blank right there is watching what you say. I pre-record stuff, but you on the radio, I feel like is a little bit harder.
Well, the thing is about doing it on the radio, the hard part is that you like when you stop talking, then people stop hearing you.
Right.
So you have to it has to be a continuous talk, you know, and honestly, it's like just I think with radio, it's just like be yourself as much as you can. You'll never have an issue, but you know, I think the day in any career you stop worrying about what other people think of you and just talk. It gets a little easier, man. You know, because you know when, in our business of entertainment, a lot of times you know we get caught up in man, this person liked my stuff, this person shared my stuff, you know. But at the end of the day, dude. Like when you're interviewing people, you get to have awesome conversations with people. And at the and at the end of the day, that's the gift itself. So regardless if you got like a bunch of likes on Instagram, a bunch of likes on Facebook, a bunch of shares, dude, you got to share a moment with maybe like a radio host, me, I'm sure, maybe like some cool guests from other big bands, like you know, at the end of the day, you know, and like I think human connection and conversation is really important.
Right. I think the coolest part is to like watch a band on YouTube fucking like killing it in front of millions of people and be like, you know what? I had a fucking conversation with that guy. Like, he gave me 30 minutes of his fucking day to talk to me. Like that's the cool part.
Absolutely. Dude. And you know, that's the gift, man. Like I said, just, you know, at the end of the day, whether, you know, I think we do this business. I don't know. I don't want to speak for you. But like, you know, we want to make people happy, you know, but at the end of the day, but if nobody shows us that they're happy, we're happy too, you know?
Yeah. So off of that, what are some like intriguing things that you've learned along the way and like funny questions or answers you got?
that
like you haven't thought of that would come out of their freaking mouths.
Let's see. I interviewed Necro Butcher for Mayhem.
Yeah, I listened to that today again.
Yeah, so one of the things I like to ask a band. I haven't asked it yet, just because like I've been asking I've been interviewing a lot of. I'll ask my local bands, but I've learned to not necessarily ask like the most serious people those type of questions. But I'll still ask funny questions. Like I'm very choosy with who I ask. What? Because like sometimes like you know like some people like barely give you any time of the day to even do an interview, so I'm just thankful. But if they're pretty loose about it, like dude, I'll do it. I'll be like, all right, I'm gonna ask this guy some funny shit. But like with Necro Butcher, I remember asking him what his biggest failure, his biggest stage fail. You know, I always say, what's the biggest stage fail? I think you might have heard it. And the thing is with their show is that they get like live goat heads. Oh no, it's live pig heads.
Yeah, I remember that.
And they put it on stakes. And I remember he told me that there was like a little girl with her family in the front row, and they didn't realize when they threw a goat head out that it like, went into the crowd and knocked the little girl out. The goat head.
Yeah. So, I think the funniest part about that one was when you asked about the coffee. No, you were like, "What do you have for breakfast today, dude?" That
Dude,
is fucking funny.
You know what? I think when you break the ice and just tell them like when I do my proposals to get interviews, I tell them I want to have a conversation. You know, because
Yeah.
if you go and see what a lot of the professionals are asking, it's a lot of boring questions.
Oh yeah,
You know,
it's
I mean, and honestly, what people don't really talk about anymore, all they do is talk about like the album they just released, which is a lot of
I hate
companies, a lot of press companies. That's what they want you to do for because they want to promote the new album. But I also as you know too, it's just like being able to go into somebody's history is awesome because that's something a fan never knew. I interviewed my favorite band in the world's Trivium, and when I talked to Paulo Gregoletto, I asked him questions I wanted to know as a fan.
Yeah, dude, that's one thing that I fucking do. Like, a lot of the bands that I talk to, like, I ask more like personal stuff, not,
yeah,
I don't know. When it comes down to like the band, it's cool, but like, what's their story outside of it? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, absolutely, dude. Yeah, so.
Like,
you know what I like to do? You can go ahead and take this segment from me. It's pretty funny. I'm just joking. So what I like to do is, at the end of my interviews now, what I've worked in, is that I'll give somebody 5 quick questions, and I'll only give them 30 seconds to answer each question. So yeah.
Dude,
so it's
I was actually a funny thing.
No, sorry.
A funny thing that I wanted to go ahead.
Okay, so but the thing is that when you do it, you change up your whole tone, So you're like, and welcome to the Metal Mixtape, and now our guest, and you have 30 seconds to answer 5 questions, and you go like, Hannes from Sabaton, are you ready? And they're just like, oh shit, and then you give them a question, and they're just like, oh, I have 30 seconds, fuck, and they're like compulsing about it, and it's like, I like doing that because like then it's like, I think it's just important to like stand out and be yourself, and they enjoy that, I think when you interview like a bigger artist, I think they respect you more if you treat them on the same level as you.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Want to fucking like bow down to them. I hate that.
Yeah, exactly. I have bowed down to like 4 or 5 people. I'm not gonna lie, but but they were like my favorite bands. But with the whole questions thing, it all varies on the artist, but it usually just starts off with like the history. What my favorite question, my 2 favorite questions to ask ever on my interviews is, when did you know that you finally made it in your band? When was the big show, the big climax, where you looked at when you looked at your bandmates, it was like, guys, we made it. Like I love asking the "We Made It" show, because I always talk about, oh yeah, they were super young, and they finally got invited to play like a venue and open for like a band, and when they saw 3,000 people, they finally knew they made it. So I love hearing the response to that. And my second favorite question I ask consistently is I ask who is somebody, since you got bigger or got famous, who is somebody that you didn't expect that was super cool when you met them? Or right. like a friendship that you built while you were touring, with so they'll talk about like musician or tour stories, so basically right that on. but at the same time I don't like staying stagnant either, so
Dude, I'll tell you something fucking funny, like,
okay,
so I was interviewing this young band, they're called the Steel Face Circus.
Nice.
And so I was like, fucking, I'm going to be funny. Like, so I asked them this one fucking question, and I will never forget their answer. I said, just envision, I think he was like 12.
Oh my God.
12 or 14.
They're like little babies, man.
But they fucking killed it. They're a metal band. I'm like, so you got an elephant, and you can't get rid of it. What the fuck do you do with it?
What?
Like, just a question out of the blue, like they did not expect it. He's like, what type of fucking question is this? I'm like, I don't know. What's your answer? He's like, I'd eat it. Like, I'd put it in my backyard and like cook it up. I'm like, right on, dude. But it was a funny question, man.
I think if you asked me that, I would ask you if it's a baby elephant or full size elephant first. And if it was a baby elephant, I would train it to be my pet. And if it was a grown elephant, I don't know. I'd probably call a friend with like a big farm and just let that elephant you know live on the farm.
Dude, it was so fucking funny.
That's funny.
But so what are you like amazed at today that you've done with the Metal Mixtape, other than like the Necro Butcher? Like,
honestly, I'm just happy how fast it's grown. Is my biggest thing, because ever since I got to like my 70th interview, I mean, I've interviewed Trivium, Betrayal, Jimmy Borger. Let me bring up my list really quick, but just a massive amount of bands and one thing I haven't announced yet on Facebook or Instagram. The thing is, I don't like announcing things just because when you get caught up, like I said, when I think it's easier to grow your product when you don't talk about it and you just keep your head down,
Yeah, you just do it.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like I get about 80% of my interviews, but now I work for a company that works with Nuclear Blast Records, Metal Blade Records, Prosthetic Records, Sharp Tones Records, Napalm Death Records. So now they saw how much I was doing with my radio station, and they decided to put me on their press list. So now, so far they've gotten me Static X, they've gotten me Alicia Archers, they've gotten me Devil Driver, but it's just honestly the greatest thing, man. Like I said, it's just these conversations. I think it's the greatest thing because I'm able to talk to all these people, and all these people have the same story. Like the bigger artists that they all sacrificed when they first started. Countless hours. Not everybody didn't just make it out of nowhere. They spent countless hours. All these people, kind of like mine your story. A lot of people people didn't believe in them when they were younger. And kind of like doubted them. So all these people like overcame adversity to be where they are now. And every single person I've interviewed has like the same drive to success. So for me, who's trying to reach that level of success, it's truly inspiring to hear their story and how they did it, So
as a musician, like I'm a guitar player myself.
Hey, nice on.
I don't know, when I fucking like was starting my podcast thing, like I was not, I don't know, like I wrote music, but like I didn't really take it seriously. But now like I definitely, when I write, like I record everything I do. Like I've been trying to like, I don't know, make something better. I don't know. Talking to like musicians that actually made it makes you want to fucking do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's absolutely, man. It's awesome. Hey, I see right here you interviewed where was this? Noah from Arsis.
Right on. He's fucking sick.
My band opened for Arsis in Oregon.
Arsis is so good, man.
Yeah, like, they're fucking sick. Taylor Washington from Paladin was he was filling in on that tour for Arsis.
He's a nice dude, man. He's pretty into like acoustic stuff and shit.
Dude, that guy's really insane on the guitar, man.
He's super smart.
Yeah.
So I got two small ones here for you.
Okay.
What separates an interview, like an old-fashioned interview, from a normal conversation?
What separates it?
Yeah, like when I try to, like, when people say to me, "Oh, you interview bands," I'm like, no. I have conversation with band members. Like I'm not. I don't know. I don't market myself as a fucking interviewer.
Let's see. I kind of do like the whole interview thing for sure, but what separates it? I think at first, when I first started, it was all interviews, but then it separated it once I started getting comfortable. You know, so because a lot of my questions when I first started doing, like I said, I've done. Let's see. This upcoming show I'm actually going to be on the radio here in 2.5 hours, but we're going to interview John from Incantation, but
he's sick.
Yeah, he's dope. But I think it's just like being comfortable, and so for me, the more comfortable I got, the more I felt like I could just talk to them. And honestly, a lot of these interviews, I never really wrote questions down until I did the Dimmu Borgir interview. Because Dimmu Borgir interview is the one where I got a little nervous because he's like he's like a Norwegian god, like for me he's like a really big band, Dimmu Borgir is massive. And so a lot of times I used to talk like just being a musician, being a homie, and asking the questions that I really just want to ask, and they're always like similar questions. But then I started writing down scripts and stuff once I started doing like 4 interviews a weekend, and last week, in the month of July, I did 27 interviews, so I was doing about 8 to 9 interviews a week, so
I can only do when I first got into this, I did like 7 a week. Like that's it.
That's
like
I still hardcore, man.
I couldn't do multiple a day.
Well, you know what it was is my boss at work, he says as long as it's for interviews, I could clock out and take my lunch early to do an interview. So a lot of the interviews I did were in my break room at work. So I think just being comfortable, to answer your question, just being comfortable and being confident and not being shy anymore is when it started turning into a conversation. But when I was like super nervous, that's when it was like an interview because I was shy, I was shell shocked, but
now would you ever in the future, like when shows start going back to normal, are you gonna plan on like doing face-to-face interviews?
So absolutely 100% yes to that. Also with my new job with my marketing company, they set up press interviews for me. So I believe it's Swallow to the Sun and like Infected Rain. They're going to be on tour, and I got press passes to go do interviews. And
so sweet.
Yeah, and then also I do local bands also. So here's my plan. This is how I try to do it with the Metal Mixtape. Is that I try to book a smaller band with a big band every night if possible. So that way the bigger band brings attention to the local band. Yep. It's like booking a big show. You put the headliner and then you put the opener. So that way of like, let's see right here, so like next week is my 100th episode anniversary, so
dude, I fucking can't wait for that day. Like,
oh dude, so what I got is I'm gonna have 2 local bands, Pitch Black Mass and Gershock. So Pitch Black Mass from Portland, Gershock is from San Francisco, and then third up I'm gonna have Rab himself from the CKY movies. And were you ever into CKY or Jackass?
Oh, Jackass for sure. Yeah, you see fucking what he did the other day, Steve-O?
Yeah. Wait, is that when he put himself on the sign? Is that one or which one?
Yep.
So and then the headline that night, I'm doing Twisted Sister. So it's just like a big old night. But honestly, dude, I do this for
who
the
you
bands.
Talking to from Twisted Sister?
JJ French. He's the founder. He's the one. He's the one who hired like D. Snyder and all of that, and got the whole band together. And you should listen to that interview because it's sick. Because a little thing about that interview, I won't spoil too much, is that the whole band was sober their whole careers.
Wow.
They never drank. They never drank. They never smoked. And they would only hire members to be in the band that were all sober.
Yeah, dude. That it separates a good band from a fucking bad band real quick. I'll tell you that. But
yeah, so
my last question to you is not interviews, but a content creator. Like what advice could you give to somebody that wanted to start up like a YouTube channel right off the bat?
YouTube channel. Let's see. Be yourself. If you're funny, be funny. If you're loud, be loud. And also don't look at other people's channel and compare yourself to their channels, and don't try to be like anybody else in their channels. So basically play to your strengths, but don't play to anybody else's strengths. You know what I mean? Because the thing is like, why are you playing to a strength that's already been shown instead of showing the world something that hasn't been done yet? You know, and the thing is, everything's been done, but the thing is, we're all different in our own ways, and we're all different in our own individuality. So, one of the biggest moments I had in my life is the day I stopped comparing myself to people. Is one. The second biggest thing is not worrying about how much attention what I do gets me, as long as I'm enjoying what I'm doing. So my recommendation is, like, if you love whatever you're going to do on YouTube or be a content creator, make sure you love it first before you dive into it. So basically, don't do it for the wrong reasons. And when you do dive in, play to your strengths. You know, if you're goofy, if you're funny and all that, don't be insecure. And also, last but not least, if you're going to be a content creator, is that you have to be okay with people telling you suck. You have to be. You have to be. No, straight up. Like, you have to be okay with criticism. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because, like, nowadays we're living in a culture where nobody can take criticism. And the thing is, like, I can't tell you how many times I've been told my vocals suck. I'm not a good guitar player, or I'm terrible at this. But the important thing is that, like, the more attention you get, the more flack you're going to get for it. The bigger your career gets, the bigger your career gets, the more haters you're going to get. It's a part of life, and it's that way in anything you do. If it's like the same in a job. If you become a manager or a boss at a job, employees just start disliking you. But at the end of the day, you're making more money, you're happy, and that's the way it goes.
Yep. Hell yeah. Right on. That was perfect freaking top off at the end here. What is your band called? Just so I have it.
So if you look at it, it's gonna be all of our old content. So now we're writing all new music. So don't judge.
YouTube.
Yeah, so don't judge. It's a band called Insanity's Reign. And like I said, that's our old material. It's pretty good, but our new material is gonna be way better. It's a whole new lineup now besides me and the lead guitar player.
So you're a vocalist, right?
I'm vocalist guitarist.
Right on. All right, I'll check this shit. What's the best song you got?
Best song? Check out Impending Doom and Unrelenting Tide of Hate.
All right.